I know I talk about this a lot. Maybe 4 years ago, I had an idea, a goal, and that was to live my life where I call the shots. Essentially like a freedom lifestyle, if you will. I don't know what you call it, but I was just tired of working for other people. I was tired of living on their schedule. Tired of having to ask permission or waiting a certain amount of time of me working to go see my parents, go see my kids. And my kids are adults, so it's not like they're your little knee-high squirts, being left alone. And I know a lot of people, or a good amount of people, don't like talking about goals. They don't like, look, I don't set goals, it's just I never done it, and that's completely fine. But I think we put too much emphasis sometimes on the word goal itself, because you're just doing something and you're thinking something's inside your head that is driving you or pushing you to go do the thing that you do. That is a goal. Whether you commit to it and write it down on paper, or commit to writing it down on paper, or whether you just leave it inside your head. Now, studies have shown that you will increase your chances of bringing that into reality if you write it down on paper. But the reality is, it's still a goal, right? It's an idea, it's a thought that you want to turn into reality. And so you go after it, you pursue it. See, nothing happens until you make the decision. Okay, that's the first step of my 4-step system, is you got to make the decision. You can't focus on anything. What are you going to focus on if you don't know what you're focusing on? If you don't know what you're going after, nothing happens until the decision is made. Once you make that decision, you got to commit to it. And I mean commit to it. Like, hey, this isn't something we're just going to try for a little bit. This is like a life's mission. We're going to go after this. Burning the ships behind us, even if it takes a lifetime to complete this, we're going to do it. And when we talk about setting big goals, keep in mind, okay, you may be starting off in a different position than the person next to you, right? We all start at a different spot in life. So don't get, worried, or if you're thinking big enough, or just set a goal that is big enough to where it's just out of reach, just out of reach. It's just out of reach for man alone to do it. This will allow you to stretch further than what you've stretched before in different areas. It will allow you to get creative in your thinking, and it will allow you to, if the goal is big enough and important enough, this commitment will allow you to drop your ego, your pride, and reach out to maybe a professional or somebody who's already achieved what you're achieving, and maybe ask them for some advice. Because that right there, in the commitment, number 2, right? We want to make the commitment, change our mindset, change the way we've been thinking. Because up until this point, what you've been doing hasn't been working. Let's just be honest, right? It wasn't working for me either, and I had to make a change. No limit thinking, right? Doubt destroys dreams. And so anytime we get, a sense of, oh, we can't do that, a thought of doubt, or we start catching ourselves in the moment where we're talking negative to us and those around us, we just need to be aware, catch ourselves in that moment, block it out, and then replace that thought with the thought of victory. What's life going to be like when we achieve that goal, or when we accomplish that idea? How are we going to feel? Who are the people around us? Is it a celebratory situation, event? Or is there just somebody shaking your hand or patting you on the back? Whatever it is, you want to put yourself in that emotional state when doubt enters the mind. And then you just continue on. Third thing we want to do is we want to write those goals down. Your chances of seeing that goal through completion, or seeing that idea come to fruition, if you write it down. How do we want to write it down? Look, just putting it on paper is good enough, and it really is. You could just put it on paper, I want this. But how you should write it down as is in the present tense, right? I have, like, you've already accomplished it, right? I have, I own, I've done. See, and this tricks our subconscious mind, because what we're doing this on a repetitive basis, 1 to 2 times a day, until our mind shift switches. Now, when you get good at this and you've done it enough, you may not have to write your goals down every day. Maybe just once a week. Maybe you just write them down and you go back and refer to them. But right off the bat, when we're changing our mindset, you want to write them down every day. And the fourth step, got to put that work in. Got to take action. Got to move in that direction of what you're going after a little bit every day. Momentum is a powerful thing. And even if you can just devote 5 minutes of work, 5 minutes of research, 5 minutes of setting something up, staging something, you're going to be that further ahead, and the momentum will just build, and it builds and it builds like a snowball rolling down a hill. It just picks up speed, it picks up snow. Before you know it, you might have an avalanche on your hand. And that's kind of what we want, right? You want so much momentum, it's like an avalanche that will push you through and past your goals. And then reward yourself. When it's all done, reward yourself. Set a reward. Not just accomplishing the goal, but set something to where you're going to reward yourself for the sacrifices you made and for the reward of hitting your goal. Where a lot of people mess up when they set rewards, they over reward themselves. So whatever your goal is, once you achieve it, set a reward for yourself that is equal to the amount of sacrifices and work that you had to put into it. I don't know, maybe it's landing a $250,000 annual salary job or career, maybe senior vice president or president, or you work your butt off, and maybe your reward is, after your first year in that seat, maybe you buy yourself a Rolex. Okay, $250 a year, $10,000-$12,000 Rollie, ain't a big deal, but satisfies the mind to let ourselves know that we did the right thing and we accomplished what we set out to accomplish. If we don't reward ourselves the next time we go out to set a goal and try to achieve that, we're not going to have the drive that we had on the first goal, because our mind is like, what's the point, right? Doing all this work, nothing's happening.